bowling fans are back. Once again, Motion Plus Lanes is the site. We're here for the Action Heating and Cooling Shootout, the 5th edition. And Joey, always spectacular TV shows today. And I think today, the three bowlers already in the championship match, probably the strongest field we've had in the 5 years so far.
Well, three quality players. I mean, two power players, one kind of tweener stroker type player, but he's also a USBC Open singles champion. So even though he's the underdog when it comes to power, he's the favorite when it comes to moxie.
Absolutely. Henry Teets you're talking about there. We got David Lubinsky, last year's champion. Matt Duty made the TV show a couple years ago. But, of course, we need four bowlers in that championship shootout. And once again, we have the wild card match coming to you this time. The Kurt Preston wild card match. We'll tell you the changes why we did to that shortly. Join us after the short break, and we'll be back with the Action Heating and Cooling wild card shootout in just a moment. The Kurt Preston wildcard match here from Motion Plus Lanes for the 2012 Action Shootout. Changed the format a bit from last year. Kurt Preston brought up a good point. At the end of last year's roll-off, bowl four frames instead of three, so the bowlers are on each lane twice. Going to make that change this year, and leading off our wildcard match here, Joey, is Travis Jackson out of Milwaukee.
Yes, 30 years of age, using, I believe, a Storm Virtual Gravity. Oh, a Pink Panther Pearl, lane one. They kind of look similar with the
look very
pinkish
similar.
Orange coloring, but as you can see, a high rev player.
So,
all 10 back.
Yeah, definitely a gentleman who had to work his way through, made it through the initial cut, and actually had a tiebreaker with Mike Jamro, someone we're both familiar with, who's made some action heating telecasts in the past, and they had to go 8 extra frames in order to break the tie before Mike didn't strike, and Travis did to move on through to this TV match.
And now the oldster of the three players today, Stephen Brinkman, 48 years of age, out of Sussex. Familiar style.
Familiar style, lots of Eagles under his belt, lots of local championship titles under his belt. And now the only player on our telecast that we have here that made a national PBA show, last year's Action Alternate Shot Doubles winner with Tony Oliva, and that's Greg Thomas.
Controversial Greg, we'll call him. He has a blog on the internet called Bowling for Dum Dums. He definitely likes to stir up the ire of fellow bowlers.
And stirred up quite a lot of pins on that shot with splitting that 8 and 9 perfectly. You can see he's real happy with the shot. Little wave to the crowd.
Well, Greg knows how to get things done on any kind of pattern. Good tournament player, as we know Stephen Brinkman is. So I would have to say the underdog in this match, Phil, would be young Travis Jackson.
Yeah, and with only 4 frames, though, anything can happen. This could be one of those matches again like we saw last year. Andy Schneider basically struck all his frames to advance to the championship roll-off, and something tells me we might need that again this year out of one of the bowlers. Nice shot by Travis, and all 10 back.
I think Travis knows with the pedigree of the competition today, that was a must-strike situation in frame 2.
Yep. Winner of this wild card match goes on to the championship shootout with the other 3 bowlers, David Lubinsky, Henry Teets, and Matt Duty. So we'll have a first-timer joining the 3 old-timers, I usually say. All those bowlers have made action shootout finals in the past.
Solid at the line, good extension, and he carries that high 4-pin with a little trip on the 4.
Yeah, and you can see a little more break on lane 10 when we had the 900 Global Tournament, or pardon me, the Barbier's Challenge here earlier in the year with the Youth Challenge Series. You can remember lane 10 always played a little bit tighter for the kids than lane 9 with, and had a little extra back end, and you can see Steve there really popped the back end on that shot.
See Greg's must shot or must strike frame here. You don't want to get an early tap, and that's an early bad shot from Greg, a rare bad shot, but
yeah, that far left, that was kind of surprising. You could tell he was expecting that lane to play tighter, but as we saw with Steve's shot, the real aggressive back in there, ball slices right through, and he's lucky to get the 9-pin out and just leave the 3-6-10, but still, no easy spare here for Greg.
No, you don't want to, in a 4-frame match, you definitely don't want to throw an open in there, but Greg, an excellent spare shooter.
Yeah, switches to an old hard rubber bowling ball. So a real relic to convert his spare, really take the lane out of play with one of those.
Well, see, Greg doesn't have to modify his release too much with rubber. He can put some hand in it and not worry about hook.
Well, that leaves him basically 10 pins down right now, 2 frames to go, and he's going to have one of the other 2 bowlers here make a mistake for him to get back in the match. Perfect score here would be 120, just like the old bowling game on Channel 18 and Channel 58 back in the 80s and 90s.
Speaking of the bowling game, I hear it's coming back, Phil.
We're bringing it back for one day at New Berlin Bowl, New Year's Day. Probably see a commercial on the show about that, and you can get your flyers at newberlinbowl.com. They have it right on the website if you're interested. More information there, and we'll have those finals for that bowling game televised in February, thanks to our friends here at Time Warner Cable Sports 32. Lots of great prizes to win, and of course, always a good time at New Berlin Bowl, just like there always is here at Motion Plus Lanes. Well, Steve here knows what he's got to do to match Travis and stay right on his tail.
Yeah, the old hosts were Lee Rothman and Tom Cole, I believe, and I believe Lee has passed.
Yes, he has. Tom Cole's still around in the area, and hopefully we'll be able to do a nice tribute to the years of work those guys did with the show.
Nice little turkey by Steve. A little Steve Grabowski on that one from Steve Brinkman. They're throwing the 5-pin. Oh, no, the 5-pin went back. That was a messenger coming across the deck.
So we got to give that credit to Ted Grabowski on that one, not Steve. Greg here, have any chance he's got to have an opponent, both opponents make a mistake.
Well, Greg knows, in a short session tournament, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and he's going to make some quality shots here, and there's the first.
Yep. Both the bowlers eliminated out of this wild card match will receive a $150 prize. First place today for the bowler that wins the championship roll-off, $650. So, pardon me, $600 is the payoff today. So another great payoff, another nice full field. Kerry advertised $500 for first place here, so he's paying more than advertised. So another great action heating and cooling tournament. Travis looking to keep the string going and just gets the 4 out from the left.
Yeah, no shortage of power there from Travis, and that should lock him into the finals. I mean, the first one he knew was an important shot. Author of 300 games for Travis. Seems lower than what he could have. And a high series of 8-11.
And he bowls in a couple of really pretty impressive leagues at AMF Bowler. One's the Teutonia 2+3, which is a great mixed league that's been around for centuries, you could almost say. And the other one's the Saturday Night Mix, which is for a mixed league. There's a lot of action in that league, a lot of side bets and stuff for those bowlers.
A little wide there, and okay, so we see there's not as much free hook when you miss right as on some patterns. So he's pretty much locked in with a spare here. He'll have about 108.
Yeah, which means Steve basically has to equal him in the 10th frame or actually get one more pin on the second ball. He does have to get the first strike, and then Steve would have to go 9 spare, and he'd have 109. So,
and Greg can still strike out for a 110.
Not that'd be 100, Joey, because he's got 40 in the 8th, and if he struck out, you'll have...
You are correct, 100.
So Greg officially at this time eliminated in 5th or 6th place, and he'll get a $150 going away prize today.
Yes, again, we're showing off our math skills.
Yeah, we do know here that Steve does need the first strike and a 9 spare to advance to the championship roll-off against our other 3 finalists. And it's always exciting in that final. 4 bowlers, 1 game, 1st through 4th place.
And a little bit light in the pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, 210. He just amped it up just a little bit.
I think he may have made a move off that shot in the 8th frame where he went high flush and almost left almost a 7-9. And
right. And the 4-pin went out late, so he may have bumped it in a little bit and then just kicked up the speed. And again, that not an easy spare either.
Yeah, it's eliminating. If he makes this spare and gets a strike on the fill ball, he's sitting at 96, so Travis Jackson will be advancing to our championship match and a chance for that $600 first place prize. So Greg Thomas finishing things off here. Greg recently won the Milwaukee Open tournament. Hasn't, numbers might be down in some tournament bowling, but nice first place prize that we got for that $1,500. They always seem to pay that off for that tournament, so...
And Greg wants to say hello to his lovely wife, Jane, as he leaves a solid 9-pin. And other hobbies for Greg: golf, poker, and a little bit of karaoke.
You can't get that man away from a karaoke machine if it's out there, no doubt about that. So that nice high backswing, down in the cover of that 9-pin, no problem. So I'm sure we'll see Greg and Tony back in the action alternate shot doubles in January. It's going to be coming out there, so make sure you check your local bowling center for flyers. Nice down into that last shot. And
Messenger didn't quite get the job done, but a 79 for Greg.
Well, that's going to get Travis Jackson advancing into our championship shootout match. Joey and I back from Motion Plus Lanes in just a moment for that match. The owner of Motion Plus Lanes here, Kerry Catania, kicking his off in his usual style here, getting the crowd riled up for this championship shootout here at the 2012 Action Shootout. 4 bowlers enter, first and fourth place determined after this game. One game for all the marbles. $600 on top. $200 if you finish fourth in this match. And Joey, we got the winner of our Kirk Preston wild card roll-off. Travis Jackson starting us off here.
Yeah, and he has his work cut out for him this match, as he did in the roll-off, bowling against some pretty quality players here. 3 other big-name players. Opening shot, rips the rack again. Doesn't seem to be fazed by this competition.
Not at all. Travis, the only one that has not appeared on an action shootout telecast before. Matt Duty appeared a couple years ago, and of course, David Lubinsky, our champ last year. Henry Tietz, our champion from 2 years ago. So the probably highest quality field we've had in the finals so far for the action shootouts in our 5 years here at Motion Plus Lanes.
Right, Matt Duty, Brunswick staffer, amateur staffer, using the new Madness, Deviate Madness Marauder. 10 back. And now high speed, Dave Lubinsky, Mike's youngest son.
Yes, indeed. And I'll tell you what, watching these bowlers come out of the gates and seeing the scores they shot all day, 250 might not win this match. I mean, quality bowlers, a little bit of an easier lane pattern, but not super easy.
And that what we saw there with that messenger coming across, that's a typical Dave Lubinsky strike. That was not an exception.
And now our champion from 2 seasons ago, Henry Tietz, the third out of West Dallas. And Henry had another great day in the lanes today.
Now, most bowlers might be intimidated with 3 power players going against them, but Henry Tietz, the lone stroker, doesn't carry that shot, but he is an ABC champion, or what's now called the USBC Championships singles title holder from 2011.
I thought it was this
2012.
year, 2012. Yeah, there's all you're gonna hear chants "Fly like an eagle" and "Go Eagle" out of the crowd. And
well, we're getting near the new year of 2013, and it's easy to get confused. But again, Henry, a national titleist, which is no small task.
Well, and another one of the horsemen, also a singles titleist as well, I believe. If not singles, all events for sure. Ron Volks. So in the crowd today, we saw him a little earlier today as well, and Ron always cheering people on.
All right, and Henry, also a Brunswick staffer.
So we got 2 Brunswick staffers. Looks like David likes his Columbia equipment, and Travis, see him throw lane 1 equipment all day.
He's
so
using a lane 1, you're right, Pink Panther Pearl, made by 900 Global down in San Antonio, Texas. All the manufacturers make some quality equipment, and that's the second time we've seen that on the right lane, Phil, where there's a little bit of hang.
So not an easy spare right now with that sleeper 8-pin, 248. As we always like to say on the shows, lots of ways to make it, but a lot of ways to miss.
Right, and that may not be the lane fault. That may have been bowler error there on Travis's part, and I'm sure he'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah, I mean, talking to Matt before the telecast start, he admitted that there's probably 2 to 3 boards the bowlers can get away with out there, but if you get a little quick with the speed, with the lane pattern that's out there, it seemed to be that the ball delayed its response more than normal and sometimes came a little late in the pocket. During qualifying today, we'd see some bowlers just leave a lot of 210s and things of that nature out there.
And we all know when there's 2 or 3 boards to play with, it loosens up your swing, it makes it easier to maintain the pocket, but you still have to figure out a way to get all 10 down. And I'm sure we're going to see most of the non-strikes in today's match will be 9. Well, I don't think we're going to see too many multiple pin conversions other than Travis's.
Yeah, but, right there you can see that ball, once again, a little late.
And it could be that lane now. I mean, now that we're seeing more than one player come light on the right lane and not on the left. And Matt will stay with his strike ball, go cross lane. Good follow through.
You can see he kind of broke his wrist back in the setup there just to make sure he didn't overhook the ball or overhit up on the way down. And always a good rule of thumb, the straighter you can play a spare, especially single pins, the better off and more accurate you're probably going to be on them.
And yet David will just throw harder. He's 22 plus miles per hour on his spare attempts, and he probably can throw it faster.
Let's see, nice loose drop shoulder all the way through his release and everything, and once again another bowler comes up light.
3 in a row on that lane where the 2 pin's not cooperating, and that's normally a sign the ball is not getting into that roll and hook phase soon enough.
Well, it's surprising, all 3 of the bowlers that joined this match got some practice before we came back on the air, and you thought they probably would have figured it out with 3 or 4 shadow balls on each lane, but apparently they've gotten fooled a bit.
Well, there can be transition happening. Now the one straight player coming up, Henry Tietz, may not have trouble because I'm sure his feet and target are further right on the lane and approach, so he may have no issues with the right lane going longer.
So looking to keep this match all even if Henry can strike here, getting into our first commercial break in our championship shootout here. You can see, yeah, definitely well right in the approach starting off as compared to the rest of the players. And a lucky rollout of the 2-pin to get into the commercial break. We're all even. 4 bowlers, 20 in the first frame, Marks in the second. And Joey and I will be back from Motion Plus Lanes with the rest of our action shootout for 2012 in just a moment. It's a real slugfest here at Motion Plus Lanes. 2 frames in the books, all marks on the board, all bowlers with 20 in the first, Marks in the second frame, and Joey. I think Travis Jackson's had kind of the best look on lane 9 out of all the bowlers so far.
Yeah, and he's using a high-polished, pearlized ball, asymmetric core, which means a little bit more strength off the friction spot right there. So give him that nice, quick little back-end hook. Other players are using duller pieces that roll earlier, probably due to the heavier oil, but they may not have the quick, strong back-end motion that Travis's shows.
And you can see on the replay there how much that ball deflected getting through the pocket, almost got back to the 10-pin. So it should be interesting. He stays with his spare balls. Notice this during the qualifying today. Stayed with his spare ball, just flattens out his wrist and nice and direct at those corner pins. Just enough.
Just enough, yeah. You don't have to center it with the ball, but you do want to just knock that pin over. An open in this kind of match is almost certain death that you're not going to win.
I mean, you look at years past, and it's always taken 240 to 250 to win this championship roll-off, and there's no doubt it'll take that again today, I'm sure.
Yeah, eventually all or most of these bowlers are going to start stringing some strikes here. We're not going to see 9s all day. Matt's ball finishing by the 8-pin.
So definitely want to thank the sponsors, Action Heating and Cooling, the Petkiss family down there. Always great supporters of bowling. If you ever need anything done with your furnace this winter or get your air conditioning tune up when February, March rolls around to get ready, because you got to be sure it's going to be another scorcher of a summer this year, give our friends at Action Heating and Cooling a call.
And we don't know what to expect with our climate lately. You know, warm winters we're having and cool summers, and another strike by Dave Levinsky. So
yeah, I mean, the day we tape this tournament in November, it's 65 degrees and sunny outside, so you never know. I want to thank our friends also at 900 Global for sponsoring this event. Winner of this TV match, along with their $600, will receive a 900 Global bowling ball, so thanks for their support once again.
The new Dirty Look is their promotional ball, and pearlized resin, very similar to the Lane 1 Pearl that Travis is using.
See what Henry Teets can hear here, and a nice double.
High, hard one for Henry there.
The trip 2-pin the frame before and almost leaving the stone 9 in the next frame. That's why bowling's an exciting sport, because even when you hit the pocket, you're not 100% sure what that ball's going to do going through.
There's still an element of risk, and it looks like a ball change here for Mr. Jackson, going to a blue model, Lane 1, probably the Carnage. So he's opting for a ball to just pick up the hook zone a little sooner, and it did.
Very Teets-like on that shot, you can almost say.
Very Teets-like.
So maybe he sees what Henry's got going for him and change balls to kind of get a similar roll. And that's why it's always important, even when you're bowling league, if you see a bowler with a similar style and you're struggling a bit and they're bowling well, maybe emulate them just a little bit.
You know, he changed balls after leaving that 10-pin on the left lane, and we did see deflection there, and he came light the previous frame, so. And there's Matt using a 4,000 grip dull surface ball, and that crept a little high on the tighter lane.
So you can see he had a little more pop on the back end. He was slightly left, but when that ball does respond, it does it hard and slices right through. Lucky to get that 4-pin out.
He's seeing very minimal deflection through the pins, and I mean, that can be good and bad.
See Kerry Catania coming down, getting more FaceTime as he always likes to do here at Motion Plus Lanes. Had to make a score correction and just moved that 9-pin slightly off spot. Gave Matt credit for his strike. Sure, Matt would like to leave that up there at this point in time, but we can't do it for him. Nice and straight at that spare, and no problem covering it up.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages of bowling in a smaller homegrown center where, you know, there's 16 lanes or less. A little more camaraderie-ship. Everyone knows your name, and he knows your drink, your favorite drink when you walk in, and Kerry knows how to take care of people.
Yeah, and you can see all the people you see there in the crowd, and you can't even see all the people to the left of the camera shot there that are hanging around watching this championship final, but you can hear them in the crowd, especially when bowlers strike like David do right there. Nice little round of applause for him. And, of course, with Henry Teets bowling out of here at Motion Plus Lanes, he's got kind of the home fans advantage going on. You can hear him when he strikes.
Henry, a longtime South Sider, and kind of grew up in this area. Kind of a fan favorite, I would say, for a very subdued, demure type person.
Looking to maintain a nice lead here, getting into the commercial break for this 2-frame stretch. No problem getting all 10 back in the pit. Gives himself a nice lead, getting into the 5th frame when we come back. Up by 10 pins over his closest opponent. And we'll be back from Motion Plus Lanes with the rest of our 2012 action shootout in just a moment. Make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah, Henry.
4 frames in the books here from Motion Plus Lanes for the 2012 action heating and cooling shootout. Nobody even close to being out of it as of yet. And Travis Jackson looking good on this left lane here so far, Joey.
Oh, yeah. Travis, we're going to watch his roll now, Phil. We know Henry has a more end-over-end roll. Travis, a little bit of side turn on the ball, and that creates the back-end hook. No deflection on that ball whatsoever.
That was just Katie bar the door on those 10 pins right there because they went straight back. Watch that head pick him bouncing back across the deck. One hop back off and keeps himself within 11 pins, depending on what Henry, our leader, does when he's up in that number 4 position.
Now, Matt used to be a high backswing, twister, grinder type player. And now he's still high rev, but as you can see, a little more roll, a little more control on the ball. Lowered his backswing about 1.5 feet, 2 feet.
Yeah, you see that with a lot of players, even on the Pro Tour. You don't see the backswings as high as you did maybe 5-6 years ago.
Right. And even Dave's game, he's learned a little more control over the years, not trying to curb it as much as he can. And he's very, very strong at keeping his hand behind the ball through the release zone.
That short first couple of timing steps to get in the last 3. Great extension through the shot, and I can't believe the head pin missed the 10 on that.
Yeah, and he'll carry those a few a game where the rest of us are leaving the plaque 10. He'll find a way to get that messenger to take that pin out, but not this time.
I mean, that's 2 complete spins, half a turn, and still can't get the 10 pin out. I think the Russian judge gave a 9.5 on that head pin, though.
Now, we'll keep track of that. He breaks his wrist back for the spare. Every time he gets tapped between strikes, anyone, and you get 9 spare, that's 21 pins less your score will have.
So right now, with Henry working on a 3-bagger, he's only down by 11 pins as the closest competitor, along with Travis Jackson. But Henry, if he strikes again, expands that out to 21 pins just because he gets that extra count, keeping that string of strikes going.
So I would say the first bowler to get a 5-bagger or 6-bagger is going to lock this match up because you can't just go strike spare, and expect to win.
And Henry right now, 4 in a row. He's right on your prediction, and right now takes that 21-pin lead. And as you just mentioned, you can see the extra spare in there for Travis, the extra spare in there for David, and that's your 21-pin difference right now. So we'll see what Travis can do here in frame number 6.
Yeah.
Made a nice adjustment last frame. They go high flush in the pocket.
Yeah, and there are times you want to go to an earlier rolling ball, smoother motion like we just saw there. The long and strong reaction doesn't always give you the best matchup.
So I want to thank Kerry Catania Motion Plus Lanes once again for hosting this great Action Heating and Cooling event. Action Heating and Cooling doubles January 19th. Alternate shot format, always fun. TV finals in March on Time Warner Cable Sports 32. Thanks again to our friends there for that. So get your entry forms out of your local bowling center soon. And another great shot by Matt.
Hit him thin, watch him spin, and we saw Matt slide. He's right up on that foul line.
Yeah, we see a lot of bowlers. They make sure that lane is only 60 feet long to the head pin when
That's
they're
long
throwing.
enough, Phil.
So, yeah, adding an extra foot or 2 feet in there sometimes can...
So when a bowler throws at a 7-pin, how far away is that 7-pin from the foul line?
I believe that would be 63 feet back to that 7-pin with a foot between the center of the pins and another great shot. It's just amazing. You try to commentate on the shots these bowlers have, but they throw the ball so good, so firm, so fast, with so many revs. We have hardly time to talk about how great the strike actually was.
Right, and you know, Dave and Travis, they rely more on power, and even Matt's game, whereas Henry relies on execution, roll, accuracy more so than just pure power.
Once again, rolls it real nice up that way and scrambles everything up to get the 4, 5, and 7 out.
And even though it wasn't as impressive as Dave's strike right before that, it did get the job done.
So right now, Henry Teets still 21 pins ahead of Travis Jackson's closest competitor right now. Matt Duty currently in 3rd. And Dave Lubinsky, 31 pins out of it with 4 frames to go. All it takes is a couple of spares for someone else in there, and Dave running sheet, and he could easily be the victor today for that $600 first place prize. And Travis,
great
wow.
shot from Travis. I think Travis adjusted his speed a little bit from his opening shots, in that he just slowed down just a touch to allow that ball to read the lane sooner.
Yeah, and you just watch it. It's just an easy, gentler roll than he had with the pink ball that he had out there before. And sometimes just as strong as that roll can be and picking up a little earlier makes a difference getting all the way through the pins. See what Matt can do here in his 7th frame. Posted up nicely at the line. Slap the 10.
Job well done. And again, they're stringing them now, Phil.
Yep. There's nobody's out of it. They all know we're not out of it. But if I leave a spare here or if I leave a split and open, I'm done. I'm going to, instead of having a chance for the $600 first place prize, I might get $200 for 4th. So a lot of money out there. $600 for first, $350 for second, $250 for third, and $200 for 4th. And that $900 global bowling ball for the champion.
A little wide, but he got it back. 10 gone. And we can just see the power of Dave Lubinsky.
And he can, as you mentioned earlier, he controls it so well. I mean, I remember watching him a few years ago. He seemed to flail a little bit, as you mentioned, and now it's just he could hold his position at the foul line all day after he throws the ball through, and just an amazing transformation of this game.
He's a big kid, and once he got his feet under him, let's say, and became more solid at the line, Dave is going to do nothing but just get better and better.
Well, let's see what Henry can do getting into our last commercial break for this match. And just as you thought he could extend his lead again, that ring 10 makes an appearance. And everybody behind him are talking now going, we got a chance. We're right back in this.
Yeah, we needed to see that string stop from Henry, and 6 right around it. And again, we know it's part of the game. I mean, good shots don't always strike, and bad shots do.
So Henry just stays with his spare strike ball here, just going to flatten out the wrist, get it all the way over across, covers it nicely. Still maintains the lead, getting in the last 3 frames of this game. You can't change the channel now because it's just way too close. And join us back from Motion Plus Lanes for the rest of this championship match in just a moment. Three frames to go here for the 2012 edition of the Action Shootout. Nobody's out of it yet, Joey, and this is probably the best finish we'll ever see for this tournament out of the first 5 years.
Well, without question. And the only one that's not on a strike right now is Henry Tietz. But he did have a nice little, 6-bagger in there or 5-bagger? 5-bagger.
So, and as you predicted earlier, it could be the person with the 5-bagger to win the tournament. But Travis right now looking for a 5-bagger of his own, and he gets it.
Big shot, and he caught it, and that definitely, I would have to say, he is in the hunt to be the titleist.
Well, right now, Travis and Henry tied.
They're tied to the pin.
Both of them can go off the sheet for $269. So with Matt Duty currently 3rd, David Lubinsky currently 4th, and there's that big gap in prize money, $600 for first place, and that $900 global bowling ball. Fourth place is only $200, and so Matt gets the 9 out that time.
That is a 4-bagger, I believe. That is a huge shot. Now Matt put a little extra Matt Duty into that release. We watched that on slow-mo. He put a lot of side turn there, and that easily could have been a 7-9 or at least a solid 9.
Yeah, head pick comes back across. He knows, what did I do there? There it is. Slap that 9 out.
Yeah, definitely one of his better shots of the match. But sometimes you throw it too good and you don't carry because the ball can overhit. So you got to keep things in perspective.
Well, David working on a strike here. He can keep himself in this match if he can get another strike.
A little wide. Yeah, and we've seen that before. Another 2-pin on the right lane. And again, now, did he throw it wide, or is there more oil in the front part of the lane creating that length to the right?
Yeah, we've seen all the bowlers having a little problem with getting the ball to the pocket consistently on lane 10. Sometimes it goes a little long. Sometimes they get that hard break on the end and go through basically almost the middle of the pins and start kicking stuff around. David just going to get that single pin covered up nicely. Not out of the match yet, but he's going to need to strike out in the 9th and 10th frames to have any chance of putting pressure on any of the rest of the bowlers.
Now, Henry, last frame, left a cold 10-pin. And, I mean, these bowlers know every tap is a dagger because it's just eating up the score. And we definitely know it's going to be at least 230 or better to win the match.
And he knows he needs a strike here just to keep up with Travis, who's working on a 5-bagger of his own.
Yeah, vintage Henry right there. Ball didn't overhit and it didn't underhit.
So nicely kicked out the 10-pin on that. Henry Teets and our bowler here, Travis Jackson, tied after 8 frames. It's basically down to the next 4 shots. So you know somebody's going to end up filling out the 10th frame. So there's going to be 4 balls in there on who's going to win this match. And you can't count David Lubinsky out yet either. Usually by now we usually have 1 or 2 bowlers we can count on the championship match. Not today, folks. And wow, just like David earlier.
Yeah, and that's the second time we saw a messenger head pin come across the deck and not take out the 10.
And that thing came back at about 45 miles an hour the way it looked, because that just settled in right in front of the 10 pin, didn't get to it, and once again stays with a strike type ball, the ball he originally started this match with. To get that 10 pin out, no problem.
Flattened his hand nicely and easy enough spare.
Takes the cheers from the crowd on making that 10 pin.
You know, Matt is on a 4-bagger. He knows the importance of the foundation frame, which is the 9th frame.
Well, if he strikes here, he takes a 1-pin lead over the field and has control of everything going into the 10th frame. Pretty nice off the hand.
Got it a little wide, came a little late, Phil. You could just see that, but he came around it good.
And he knows it right there. That's just a huge shot at this point in the match. Goes from having a chance to take over a lead to having to make this to make sure he still has a shot at something if another bowler makes a mistake in frame number 10.
But we have noticed, at least, you know, all these players, quality players, when they get wrapped, what looks like a wrapped 10 pin, at least they're not kicking racks, being frustrated. Now, mentally, he may have been a little frustrated there, missing that single pin, but at least they don't show ranges of emotion with anger.
And that's going to send Matt from a chance for being in the lead down to 4th place right now, going into the 10th frame. Just $400 difference in a bowling ball and money and prizes here today at the 2012 Action Shootout.
And Matt may have just kind of rushed it a little bit, you know, thinking it's a gimme and it's not, and Dave gets one of his, what would you call that?
I don't know, just an explosion.
That was a ripper, a can opener, and a messenger all in one.
Just a triple threat right there. Well, still has a chance going to the 10th frame, but Henry, if he can set up with a double in the foundation frame, can really be in the driver's seat for frame number 10.
You know, and I know Dave's dad, Mike Lubinsky, never had strikes like that. Never, ever.
And Henry could have used one of Mike Lubinsky's strikes right there, because that 7-pin really makes it tight going into the 10th frame, assuming Henry makes this spare. Just the 5 in front of the 7, nothing gets to it.
Well, I don't want to put a black cloud over Henry, but I don't think he's missed a single pin this year.
So moves a little farther to the right on the approach. Up the left side lane. He's kind of worried about that one. And
now, my ball, I would have missed that because mine would have hooked away in the gutter. But Henry with the flat, straighter release, no problem making it.
Wow, you can just see right there, we said 63 feet to the 7-pin back there, and that ball was on the lane about 63 feet and a 1/4 inch. Well, here's the deal right now. Whatever Travis does in frame number 10, Henry, if he matches him, Henry will be the winner. Travis with a nice shot, and you can see right there he was confident off the hand.
Yeah, and that 10-pin cost him big because, you know, if he doesn't strike here, he's in the upper 230s. If he does strike, it's 240s, and which means he could have easily had a 260 game.
Yeah, right now he just needs to make sure he still keeps putting pressure on Henry.
Well, getting the second one here seems to be the key shot. And Henry going to the right lane where some bowlers have had trouble with 2 pins, but Travis figured it out the right way. Speed and the right nugget in his hand. And there's another one as I speak.
Yeah, that one just seemed to get a little quick out of his hand. You can see the roll was a little different than the last couple of shots on that lane.
Yeah, it almost seemed a little too much forward roll and not enough side rotation for the ball to make the move left. But again, he's still going to finish with a fine 238 if he spares up the 245.
Because he went strike spare in the 10th frame, assuming he makes this, Henry Teets can do the same thing in his part of the 10th frame and win by a pin. We'll give Henry 239. That's going to give Travis 238. So right now, Matt's officially out of it. David is officially...
Well, if Dave strikes out, Dave's got 238 if he strikes out. So there's
still a chance.
So we could have a 3-way tie, Phil.
Definite possibility. But right now, unfortunately for Matt, he's just going to have to go through the motions here because he's pretty much got 4th place locked up.
Yeah, he is 227 max because of the 10-pin miss, and they're going to come easy now because they're almost inconsequential.
So he's relaxed. Yeah, David could finish behind him if David were to go spare strike in the 10th, but Matt's at least got no greater than third place here wrapped up. So either way, it's either $250 for third or $200 for fourth for Matt, and you know he's going to be beating himself up a little bit about that 9th frame, not just about leaving that 10 pin, but missing it afterwards.
Right. Well, the miss is 11 pins, and again, if he does shoot the 227, that's a 238. He's in the hunt. Definitely one of the closer final matches we've ever had.
Yeah, definitely. This one's going to be down to the last shot by our last two bowlers, so who says bowling can't be exciting? And with this format, I mean, we only do it once a year with the Eliminator format. First through fourth, all decided in one match.
Yeah, that was well left of target and still held pocket, so a 226 for Matt.
So get him at least third or fourth place out of that. We'll see what David can do here. And as you mentioned, if David can strike out here, 238, he could tie Travis, and there's a distinct possibility of a three-way tie. We'd break that tie simply with a single ball roll-off. High count would win. Other counts would get placed second or third depending on what they received. Nice and loose on that approach. The two timing steps to get into the last three. Rips on the bottom. How about that?
Yeah, plenty of pin action there, Phil. No need for a messenger on that one.
No, got it out. Knocks that down. Still has the 238 possibility. He knows it. He went back right away. He's grabbing that rosin bag and fiddling with it and just getting some nervous energy out of there. He knows he still has a chance to repeat from last year. If he can strike out, it all depends on Henry Teets on the bottom. And you can see Henry over there. He's trying not to watch his opponent, but you know he wants to know what's going on. Yeah, now the eyes kind of lock back over. See if we can get a second one on the 10th. Looks pretty good off the hand again. Almost a mirror image of the last shot.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, was that a replay?
Could have been. And now this is the big one. This is the one he needs to tie Travis and really put the pressure on Henry on the bottom, where Henry would need to go strike, at least strike spare. If Henry went 9 spare strike in the 10th frame, Henry would also have 238. So lots of ways we can still get ties here for the 2012 Action Heating and Cooling Shootout Championship. Nice pose from the side. You can see how relaxed he is getting in the setup.
Wide.
Wow, and
Wide and 5.
Unbelievable. That's one thing I really thought Dave wouldn't do right there, would be get away from the head pin on that shot.
Yeah, there's no joy in that shot. I mean, you make 2 quality shots, the first 2, and then kind of give it back with a bad count on the fill shot.
And that right there, it's going to knock.
He's guaranteed third.
At least third, if not, yeah. Depending on what Henry does here. I mean, if Henry does open, Travis would take first and David would take second. Henry here needs at least 9 on the first ball to have a chance for the championship. It's well on line, and he gets all 10.
Yep, it's all Henry's now, do or die. He basically needs
any spare,
any clean frame in the last shot. He could get a 3 count and spare it and still win.
And still have 239. I'm sure he'd rather prefer, a 5 pin or something like that, something nice and easy in the middle of the lane to shoot at. But yeah, any mark in the 11th and 12th frame here gets him that $600 first place prize and the bowling ball from 900 Global.
Forward roll, right over board 10 in the pit. Job well done, Henry.
There's your champion. You can see Kerry Catania coming in the picture there on the side. Henry giving the crowd the little Kerry salute there. And how about that?
Another feather in Henry's, what do you call it, headdress.
Headdress. And then Henry, our first 2-time winner of the Action Heating and Cooling Shootout. David Lubinsky had the chance to become the first repeat winner. We'll have to wait for a repeat winner sometime soon. Great shot by Henry to wrap up this match. He's going to take that first place prize. We're going to come back with Kerry Catania, the proprietor of Motion Plus Lanes, do a couple of interviews with the bowlers and give them their prize money. So join us back for that in just a moment after this short break. Well, Kerry, we've had 5 of these Action Heating and Cooling Opens now with the shootout format in the finals, and this was the best one yet.
I tell you, it took a little while, but a lot of ties, some roll-offs, and what else? We had a little bit of an injury, and sometimes that stuff happens.
Yeah. Made our way through. We had our 4 finalists. Like you said, the most exciting final we've had so far. Let's bring in our 4th place finalist, Matt Duty. Matt, come on out.
Congratulations there, Matt.
Matt, close game all the way through until frame number 9, and ball just kind of leaked a little wide on you, didn't it?
Yeah, bad shot, bad spare shot, and that's what happens.
Still a great showing. Second time you've made it for the action shootout. Kerry's got some 4th place money for you. How much we got, Kerry?
We got $200 for your 4th place finish. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Matt. 3rd place, we have last year's champion, David Lubinsky, coming on out. So, David, with a nice congratulations. Another great finish for you. It wasn't the win that you had last year. Tough field again this season, and you had all the way through. You had a chance to really put some pressure on Henry there.
I did.
With the shot in the last ball of 10. What happened on that one?
I just got a little wide, but it happens. Henry struck out in the 10th or doubled in the 10th what he needed to do, so it's good showing and can't complain. Strong field.
Yeah,
you had a great player.
And you had a great day before you even made the telecast. Brackets were your friend today, no doubt about that. And Kerry's got some more money for you. How much we got?
All right, we got $250, 3rd place. Congratulations.
We'll see you again next year, I'm sure. 2nd place today, how about it? Travis Jackson comes on TV, first time under the lights. Travis, come on out. And I'll tell you what, he didn't look nervous at all for being on under the lights for the first time. You had to make your way through the wild card match. A little different because of the short format. Any different mental adjustment? We had to get out there and just chuck it for 4 frames?
Just try to stay focused and keep the energy up.
Anybody you want to say hi to that left a little early today?
All my buddies up there, they left me, but hey, they came back and supported me.
Yeah, they did. And Travis, great showing today. How much we got for 2nd place for him?
All right, $350.
All right.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Travis.
Awesome job. And how about this, Kerry, our first 2-time champion of the action shootout here, Henry Tietz, and I'm sure the fans are going to go nuts now for Henry coming on out. Henry, I know this isn't exactly a USBC Eagle experience, but I mean, the second time you won this tournament, and you knew you had to get up there in the 10th frame, and the pressure was on. Any different adjustments you took on then focusing on that last shot?
No, I kind of ran through my mind what I did at EABC or USBC, and just wanted to make a good shot, hit the pocket. And if I carried, I carried. If whatever happens. But just give myself a chance. That's all I asked for.
So, and I know you're going to make him leave part of this behind the bar here, Kerry, since he does bowl here a lot. How much does he get for first place today?
Hey, this is a pretty good one, about $600. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Henry. Thanks again for coming out and bowling. Thanks again for everybody watching the Action Singles Shootout. Want to thank our friend Joe Peckus at Action Heating and Cooling. Want to thank you, of course, Kerry Catania, for hosting us again.
And thank you, Phil.
We'll be back with more bowling here on our Time Warner Cable Sports 32 bowling shows. Make sure you stay tuned. And for my friend Kerry Catania, for Joey Serrar back at Bowlers Pro Shop, I'm Phil Bradlow. And parents, take the kids bowling. They'll have fun for life. We'll see you on the next show.